I'm Sean, you're watching Hacking Patina, and this is Chromo, a 1958 DJ-3A 4x4 conversion. We drugged this out of Chama, New Mexico. It spent its life in Chromo, Colorado. But we got her home, we did the dirty, and we got it running. And we took her for a ride around the block. It was rough. It was sketchy. But now, a fella says, now what do you do? I think we could put a little lipstick and a pretty little skirt on this pig and send her on her way. First, we're going to dress the horse barn. We're going to clean it up. We're not going to drop a bunch of money into this. This is a budget project. First thing we need to address on this is let's get this engine a little more tidied, okay? It's not going to take much. We're not going to dump a bunch of money into this. We're not pulling it. We're not doing machine shop. It's running. Let's keep it that way. But it's got to get a few things done, okay? We know there's a few things we need to take care of. Let's address those old rusty spark plugs, all right? Let's address the carburetor. I'm sure it's got some gunk in there. Let's do a quick and dirty, on the workbench, carb rebuild. These kits can't be about 20, 25 bucks. Let's change the oil filter. Filter that'll work in this. I'll make my own gasket. We're going to clean the oil bath. The bottom of it. Maybe wipe that down a little bit. Clean her up. This has got an oil bath. Again, it's over top of all the components. Makes a mess if you're not careful. But we're going to change out, wipe out the oil bath. Maybe clean it up a little bit. We're going to time it up a little bit. We're going to flush the radiator. It is dirty. That's it. Spark plugs, carb, oil filter, air bath, timing, flush the radiator. If there's anything else that pops up, I'm not going to change the spark plug wires. Let's go to the grocery store. Let's pick up these parts that I need. Went to the store, got what's local to me, got the best value I can get. I got some Champions. They were the least expensive. It's probably Gap good enough. I got a filter. I got a rebuild kit. Let's start with the oil. Let me put some gloves on. You know, the guy's getting old enough to know he should be wearing gloves. Alright. We are off. Look at there. Somebody already used a homemade gasket. No leaks. We're just going to repeat the process. Those old timers, they know what they're doing. Okay? We're going to repeat. Rinse and repeat. I pre-made mine. Okay? I like to use the corks. I'm going to use towels because I don't have time to find my sucker. That should do. Nope. It's going to leak all over. And I'm going to have a mess. And I'm going to pull this out too fast and it's all going to dribble out on me. Big A 92010. That's what's in there. The Big A 92010. Never heard of that one, but I'm sure it's a good one. Let's start pulling some of that out. And here starts the mess I told you I'd make. I always make messes. And by the way, when you want to clean your parts, take them up to the kitchen sink next to the wife's clean dishes that are racked along her side and start making a mess. My oil catch pan's down there, guys. I'm not tossing it on the floor. Nope, that one went on the floor. Yeah, right on the floor. I thought I could squeeze my way around the bumper bumper. Over, under, nope, right on the floor. Now we're getting down to the dirt. The old sludge sitting down in there. I'm going to spray a little bit cleaner in there because I am going to change the fluids. Now, whoa, whoa, woo, woo, that'll light you up. That can't be good. Alright guys, I'm good with that. Let's drain. Let's get underneath. Drain it out the bottom. If you ever forgot to take the drain plug out of the drain pan and it overflows, not today, but it's happened. Believe you me, it's happened. We're going to tackle this. Let's go ahead and take the hose, the air cleaner off. You know, an old fella did a make-do here because there's supposed to be a different cross hose here that connects into the oil dipstick for venting. They just have this venting into the wild. While that's draining, let's pop out these plugs without breaking the wires, because I don't have new ones. They're worn, they're not too bad, they're rusted up. These are the Autolite 295s. I got the Champion cross-reference to the AC 95 or 45, AC 45s that originally came in there. So these are all cross. There's a handful of cross-referenced plugs that you can get into these things. Not too bad. Not too bad. Though on how they're looking, a little worn. The gap's a little bigger than 30 thousandths. 4. They're all very similar, guys. Good sign. We don't have a special one in here. Ooh, I probably should have cleaned that off a little bit, but oh well. Now let's drop in some freshies. This one looks yep, that one's gapped right. Yep, that one's got the right gap. Yep, gapped good there. This one here is looking a little goofy. That one looks a little goofy. Let's go ahead and fix that one up. 30 thousandths. Okay, there it is. This tool, this was a hand-me-down from my dear old dad. I've been using this since I was a little whippersnapper, you know, running around in the soggy underpants, down to my knees, because we didn't have diapers. You know, and it's all filled up. And it's dragging across my knees, and I'm running around saying, give me the gapper tool. Give me the gapper, Daddy. Most of my tools are actually hand-me-downs from Dad. I gotta get that, guys. This one's a little boogered up. Little boogered up. Probably got dropped. You ever drop your pre-gap plugs on the ground? And the next thing you know, they're all squashed together. Why would I say that? Why would I even know it's a thing? Who's done that? Raise your hand. Yeah. I'll raise mine twice. Once for this one. Yeah, there, she's got good now. Good. 25 to like 33 pounds of torque. The reason why I say this is kind of important because I'm going to set this back down to 25. I don't like 30 on there. The reason why I say that is because these things, you be driving them in by hand and not knowing what the torque is. You hit a little tight spot and you get a little scared to go past that little tight spot. Next thing you know, you got a loosey-goosey on your hands. Do your due diligence on your plugs, okay? Especially with these guys. They got this. These plugs are sitting in a little valley, perfect for water gathering up. Or antifreeze when you take off your thermostat housing without draining a little bit first. And the rain. This right here, this little piece, that's supposed to be a rain gutter. I think it works. 1342, guys, 1342. Spark plugs, check. I'm gonna put a little oil on those little seals there. Okay. There we go. Boom. Thank you for your service. New Cork made gasket. Boom. She sits in there beautiful. I can cut out circles really well. Taught my daughter that, how to cut circles. You know, one of the first things she learned. Run around with scissors and cut circles. And my bad. Let's pop that back off. I forgot to do a pre-fill on this. Kind of prime it up. You guys would have got me. You guys would have got me good. The comments were going, "Dang, Sean, you didn't pre-fill the canister." You guys are way smarter than me on this stuff. You guys are smarter than me on this. Okay? So we go to the big warehouse store, right? And I say, "Honey, see if you can't pick me up some of those gloves." And she says, "Yeah, the one we pull weeds with?" I'm like, "No." "Those big leather ones?" "No." I said, "Disposables." She says, "Oh yeah." I said, "I don't know if they got them there, but if they do, pick me some up. But I usually get them in bulk, 100 count." And she said, "All right, I'll check." And I get a message. It says, "How's these? Don't get me the inspection gloves. They break too easy." So I get a message. "How's these?" And sure enough, they're the exam gloves. But you know, a fella takes a look and he squints. And he reads that little 2.5-inch phone screen and says, "That's a 200 count and they're 2 times as strong. Yeah, I'll take them. It's got to be a deal." Well, I'm going through them twice as fast than the 100 count I usually get. So, you know, guys, we don't learn. We don't learn. Putting some of the orals in there. This is in my budget, guys. These are what I have local. This is my budget. Be careful here, guys. You go squishing this filter canister down into the canister, I'm going to have oil up in my face, all over this engine, and I'll be here till midnight. Because right now I'm making pretty good time. So let's be very careful. Let it soak in there, Don't be in a hurry here. Push it down gentle. It wants to go fast. It's stuck. Be gentle. Gentle. Don't go just slamming it in there. Alright. Woo! No mess. Let's see where we're at. Alright, close. Dipstick had it whipped. This dipstick, by the way, has been like golden soldered back together. Some gent broke it. So I hope it's the right length. How do we know if it's the right length? Do I go pull the other one out of the other Jeep and use it? No. We just say it's good. It's got to be good. It's got to be good. Alright, oil's filled up. Let's fire this thing up, make sure we're still good to go. Then we'll tackle that carburetor, guys. Okay? See that we can still start. Pull this carb out, set it on the table, start ripping it apart. First thing I'm going to find out how many turns the fuel air mixture is, so that I can set it at least close, get it close to what it was running at. Okay, so we're 1. That was like 1 1/4, guys. 1 1/4 out. I don't know if you can see in there now, but it's dirty. Okay, it's dirty. It's got a little buildup. So we'll get this fuel filter connected up here. This guy's ready to fire up. Alright. Let's see where we're at. Flush the radiator. I took the liberty and flushed the radiator a little earlier before I went and got some grub. Radiator's flushed. Carb rebuilt. Check. So we're just going to do the air bath change. And then we're going to time this up a little bit by earish. So this is old school filter. It's just it's a porous filter. That's cool. We might see if we can put together a little better gasket in there. Might be building me one. Oh, it's a rotted up. Yeah, that gasket's no good, guys. This is interesting. This gasket has little slits in here. I'm gonna have to be awfully creative to make my own. Well, let's see what the fella can come up with. Alright, now let's make these little, I don't know if you can see them, there's those little slits in there for the fuel. When the fuel comes in here like this, comes in, I'm going to flip it over, fuel comes in into this hole right here, runs around this little channel and pops up through these little gaps in this gasket, and then comes out, fills up the bowl on the outside, sucks it in through the middle and back into the carb, and then into the carb. Clever. Let's make some slits. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Let's get this fuel filter on. Let's get a little sauce in here. Prime up that bowl. Whoops, 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 whoops. Alright. Check. Let's put a little oil bath. Just fill it up to the oil level. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Whoop. Alright guys. That's on. Oil bath. On. Well guys, a fella just didn't get it done last night. It got late, and I had to fix my carburetor. I had to yank it back off, adjust my floats, slap it back on there. I'm going to go get a couple of the parts I got. We're going to slap it back together. We're actually going to take care of the generator. Rewire that generator, get some new wires on that, get rid of those open grounds. We're going to still time it. We still need to time this. I think it's pretty good, but we're going to get that done. I got the hoses cleaned up, radiator hoses, air hose. Made them look pretty. Don't need to buy new. Just scrub them down a little bit, guys. If they're not cracked up, dry rotted, just take them up to Mom's sink and clean them up. Okay? Now, the other lower radiator hose actually was ready to bust. It had a hole almost through it. I'm reusing this one from another upcoming project. We're going to deal with the generator and the regulator. Right? The generator is going to produce some electricity to recharge this battery. The regulator is going to make sure that it doesn't overcharge. Nowadays, here's the generator, here's the regulator, and it's going to connect, the regulator is going to connect up hot to the battery. And that's going to give us a little trickle charge while we're running. Nowadays, we use alternators. Now I got one sitting over at the shelf that I can convert. I got a one-wire alternator. I can just go ahead and shut this old generator and this old regulator down, get them out, and put a one-wire alternator in here. Call it good. But you know what? This stuff's in here. Let's not jump the gun and just yank it out of there. Let's see if this works. Okay? But I'm going to put some new cable on there, some new wire. Because this is a mess in here. Somebody really mucked it up. So we're going to make some connections. We're going to disconnect the battery. We're going to hook up a new ground. Okay, you guys help me read the voltmeter, okay? We should get a little over 12 without this generator running. Okay? 12.7. You concur? Alright. Let's fire this thing up. Alright guys. I turned up the idle just so we can see that generator moving and charging. If you can see, we're getting 13.9, almost 14. Now don't forget, we got a bad muffler. Actually, we got no exhaust hardly. Alright, I'm going to turn that distributor. We're going to dial it in by ear here. Okay? hook up the light. Number 1. Yard the gas. Positive. Negative. Pulley wheel had a line that had marked on there that was at top dead center. Okay? I'm going to line that up where it's about 7 degrees, 8 degrees before top dead center. My little ear was off a little bit. I was probably about 10 to 12. But now, I think we're on there. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see it or not. But I've got a white line on that pulley wheel. Anyway, I think we got it dialed in, guys. Let me tighten this up. Go grab a quick bite to eat. We'll hook some flashlights up. We'll go. We're gonna hit it. Top it off. Good to go now. Good to go. Let's go through our checklist. Spark plugs, carb, oil, air, timing, done. And we dressed this little pig up, this horse barn up a little bit with some lipstick and skirts. Dress up the horse barn. Alright guys, what are we gonna go do? That's right, what we're not supposed to. Factory. Let's do this. Let's do it. that's a wrap for this girl tonight on the engine dress up. Be sure to tune in. We're going to deal with the drivetrain and the actual gas tank. Alright? Till next time.